Montana parents have long struggled with a childcare market that hasn't kept up with a growing need for it. The strain falls hardest on families with young children, but it echoes through the entire economy. With pandemic relief measures coming to an end, things now could get even tougher. Montana PBS's Joe Lasar met with parents, providers, and advocates to explore a promising new approach.
Should we play a little song?
More songs.
More songs?
No.
Oh.
It's a Saturday morning in Helena, and Caitlin Jensen and her husband Brian Murphy are priming their 2-year-old son Liam for his big break in the music industry.
Let's see your skills.
This kid's got prospects, though. Perhaps a career as a pilot?
Blast off!
Liam has time to figure it out, but something that many parents in Montana are struggling to figure out is how to find affordable, quality childcare for their children before they go to public school.
That's a goose.
Caitlin lives this reality at home, but she also lives it as a professional. Caitlin is the executive director of 0 to 5 Montana, a statewide organization with the mission of bringing together community leaders and state organizations to address childcare concerns. Operating in one of 6 states without publicly funded preschool and daycare, the work of organizations like 0 to 5 is critical to help fill in the gaps in a system that has been plagued with challenges for years.
Even before the pandemic, childcare was a really big issue, and I think a lot of people called it a crisis. And even recent statistics show that parents are paying upwards of $15,000 a year annually, so it keeps getting more and more expensive.
There are a lot of angles from which to look at this issue. It affects kids, parents, and employers. And those working in the childcare industry have their own set of challenges. According to data from the Montana Budget and Policy Center, the median wage for childcare workers in Montana was $11.19 an hour in 2021. That fact makes it hard for childcare business owners to staff and run their facilities.
As we know, a lot of people go into this field not because they have a love for running a business or opening a business, because they have a love for kids.
Among the many resources and programs that 0 to 5 provides, one called the Montana Child Care Business Connect is aimed at providing support to childcare business owners. Thanks to some funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, the program launched last year.
We were able to hire someone in who comes from the Small Business Development Center world and in economic development, and so he's actually working right now one-on-one with several childcare providers across the state.
Caitlin says a key component of this program is still being developed. This fall, they'll be unveiling an online cost of care tool for childcare business owners.
So that will give us a really good idea of what it actually costs to run a business, which we're hopeful that will also aid in our state and our policymakers having a better understanding of the true cost of care.
Caitlin is excited to see what this program can build into. She's hopeful it will be able to help providers like Cheryl Hutzenbeiler, owner of Munchkinland Daycare in Billings. While Cheryl is inside with the twin 2-year-olds she cares for, the rest of the kids are outside, eagerly awaiting a special weekly visitor. Munchkinland is an engaging place for the kids that come here. The facility is one of 18 in the state that's rated 5 stars by the Montana Department of Health and Human Services Voluntary Quality and Improvement System, the highest rating. Cheryl cares for ages 0 to 12, children with developmental delays, and is open 12 hours a day from 6 to 6. She supports her families in other ways too, connecting them to resources, experts, and helps parents manage challenging behaviors.
And now it's also time to move on to our next thing, which is snack. Okay? All right?
And while it's mostly fun and games for children in daycare, the same can't be said for Cheryl, her employees, and childcare providers across the state.
We have providers that leave the field because they can't make a living. The fact that the wages are low, people don't want to work in this field anymore.
In the face of low wages, Cheryl strives to support her 2 full-time and 1 part-time employees in other ways. She provides bonuses when she can, she pays for classes and certification courses, and she used COVID relief money to offer insurance.
You're so welcome.
Retaining staff is critical. Losing employees means reducing hours or reducing her amount of children, and with that, her bottom line comes down.
drop it because Finley was looking for a peanut too, and I see that you have 1, 2.
Cheryl lucked out when Macy Buckingham came on board 4 years ago. She left a job in fast food and decided to give childcare a try.
Jeremy, what'd you have for dinner last night?
And when I first came, I walked through the door and all the kids were like, "Oh, hi!" And I fit right in, and so it was perfect. I just fell right into it. It was great.
Macy is Munchkinland's lead teacher. Thanks to Cheryl's help paying for certifications, she's only 2 college courses away from an associate's degree. She loves this work, but is on the fence about a long-term career in childcare.
I would love to further my education if it was a job that I felt like I could do my whole life and not have to choose later, 10 years down the road when I have my own family, can I use this or do I have to go back and work at McDonald's because I just need to make money?
And with the legislature in session, debates about how to address these issues from the state level are taking place. Last Friday at the Capitol, 0 to 5 hosted the Have a Heart for Kids event. Legislators were invited to lunch to hear from sponsors of several key bills pertaining to early childhood issues. One such bill is aimed at retaining several changes to the state's Best Beginnings Scholarship, which helps low-income families pay for childcare. Federal pandemic relief expanded eligibility and capped copays at $10 a month. At the start of 2023, those funds expired, and copays for some low-income families have gone up to as high as $600 a month.
The bill is in response to the pandemic changes ending, but also just in recognition that the state really hasn't invested in childcare very much over the last 30 years, and we know there is a real need out there.
The governor's budget includes a $1,200 annual tax credit for kids under 6. Households making more than $50,000 a year would not be eligible. Democrats are saying that this doesn't go far enough. Also last Friday, a meeting was held in the governor's office to discuss ideas and share stories.
Last summer, I stepped away from my role as director with the Early Childhood Coalition because I didn't have childcare.
That's Callie Triller. Since moving to Dillon 4 years ago, she's become involved with some incredible work currently happening in Beaverhead County. Through a series of grants set up by 0 to 5 and the state, the Early Childhood Coalition, Western, and Canvas Early Learning Center are honing their relationships in an effort to provide better childcare options for families in Dillon.
And some things that we realized and learned were that in Beaverhead County, if you don't work a full-time 9 to 5 job, childcare is really tricky.
70% of children in Montana have both or their single parent in the workforce. That's 32,000 people who might come to the decision that they need to leave their jobs because they can't find or afford childcare.
As jobs become more available, they need a workforce, and there's a limited workforce if there isn't adequate childcare.
The $1 million grant from the state is being put towards bolstering the relationship between Western and Canvas, a local childcare facility. Soon they'll be able to expand to hours outside of the normal workday, provide infant care, and open an additional facility. Annalise Ripley with Western says the partnership will make the already strong early education program at Western even stronger.
It's not all theoretical to them. They're getting a lot of hands-on experience working with very young infants, toddlers, and children.
Students studying early education at Western get to spend a lot of time with the kids of Beaverhead County. Sophomore Courtney Baker is at Canvas regularly, both for school and as a part-time employee. She switched from elementary education to early childhood after gaining experience at Canvas.
So that really inspired me. I also feel like children are very underestimated, so it feels good to be an advocate for them and help them out and show others what children can actually do.
In the face of the difficulties of our childcare system, Courtney, who is the daughter of a single parent and elementary school teacher, is forging ahead toward her goal of becoming a part of the next generation of childcare providers.
Forward and then backward. I think the wages and the school issues or whatever's going on, no matter what, really the inspiration behind being a teacher is the kids, and that's what it's all about.
The children of Beaverhead County, or wherever Western students move after graduating, will be in the hands of experienced young professionals, thanks to this community-based partnership that is playing out not only in Dillon, but in several other communities across the state.
Because we know that parents are better when kids are better. We know that businesses are better when families are healthy, right? And all of it feeds each other.
The people who work in this field do so out of pure passion. Callie and Caitlin shared their stories about the difficulties of navigating childcare. Callie formed the Early Childhood Coalition in Dillon after going through the process of having a child in a childcare desert. And now, here she is, kids in tow, at the Capitol, working to invoke change. And for Caitlin and Brian, they are just one example of a couple that had to make the tough decision to cut back to a single salary. Brian left his job when Liam was born. He knows he's lucky to be in a strong marriage, have family support, and now a stable income. But Brian brought up the fact that not all parents are as fortunate as he is. His decision to leave his job was done so in the spirit of helping not only his family, but others as well.
And then it was kind of a judgment call too, of just really wanting to support the work that my wife does, kind of in the early childhood field, knowing that her work is making a big impact for families and children.
Luckily for Liam, he is in the 99th percentile of his age for height. So if his career as a musician or a pilot doesn't pan out, it'll be the NBA for him. Liam has years to work on his offhand shooting and his fast break game, but for now, being the ball appears to be what brings him a love of the game. Experts in the early education world say that addressing this issue in a substantial way will have wide-ranging positive effects in our society. Until then, parents will continue to face struggles.
It's a reality that our country is going to have to grapple with in a big way at some point. And I don't know if our legislators are quite there or if our world is quite there.
For Impact, I'm Joe Lasar.
In addition to the grant we profiled, 29 others were awarded to communities across the state, with amounts ranging from $140,000 to $1 million. 7 of those proposals include plans for the same cross-sector approach as in Dillon. That money is intended for use by September of 2024.